Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Glad to be here to tell you lots of good news about the activity since the first of this year in economic development. This is our first such report, to my knowledge, so we are going to report on January to the present. Some of the highlights so far this year is that the Texas Economic Development Council Professional Excellence Award was awarded to our city for the second year in a row. It's based on professional development and having a strategic plan in place and things of that nature. Also, Ashley Furniture Industries was recognized as a top 3 best industrial deal of the year by the Dallas Business Journal, and 5 of their reps attended that event in April. And we hired our new downtown manager effective March 1st. And we have the completed development map that highlights Mesquite's economic development projects, districts, tax increment reinvestment zones. And on the back side of this is a new brochure which has a few different angles of how we approach people when we're working with developers and prospects. We present our demographics in 3 different ways: as a city, and then from an employer perspective, workforce commute times, and then from a retail perspective, which we are now using the demographics that GGP or Tiny Small uses, pulling over 1 million people to the retail area. And so there's a copy of that map provided for each of you tonight. The ink is just dry. Some of our departmental action at a glance is that we have attended 2 shows this year. ICSC stands for International Council of Shopping Centers, and that is a retail prospecting show where over 50 prospects were visited. And IAMC is Industrial Asset Management Council, where David Witcher attended and visited with over 20 prospects. And that's a real powerhouse of site selectors and large corporate asset CEOs. In general, as a department, you can see listed on the report meetings and tours. And by the way, this report is the same as that you received in your packet. It is just reformatted for horizontal presentation, and we did actually add a few more items. But as you can see there, we've had about 18 site and property tours so far this year. We have about 13 projects currently in discussion, 6 380 agreements in progress, and 4 have been executed so far this year. The business retention program is highlighted on the other side of the page, and I'll go into more detail on that later. Okay, relevant to each of your strategic priorities that apply to economic development, in job creation, we did host a Turbo Boost Your Workforce event. We had a record attendance of 35 industry reps. We had all the big players there, Capstone, Pepsi, UPS, and we were very pleased with the attendance. But even better, our partners are reporting that they're starting to see direct results of our business retention events. Eastfield called and said they are working on 2 contract training contracts as a direct result of this breakfast event. The CTE high school that was recently awarded through the bond is also collecting names for people that are interested in helping with that curriculum for that new high school. And from the feedback we got at the event, job growth is expected to continue. Companies such as Pepsi and UPS are in a hiring mode right now and have increased their workforce. In the area of retail vitality, we're happy to report our retail is at a 93 occupancy rate at this time. And as we do these quarterly updates, we'll start charting this and showing you how these vacancy rates and how these square footage rent rates ebb and flow. So for this first report, we're giving you an overview. Our rents are ranging from $10 to $32 per square foot, depending on location. And as I mentioned previously, a 60-minute drive time has 1 million population market area, and that market area has a 71,000 average income. So that's what GGP reports for the Town East pool. We've had over 200,000 square feet of new construction so far this year, and well over 6 million in remodels, Target being one of the major players in that one. And we are also working on partnering with key investors in retail vitality to stay abreast of current and future market trends. We do have owners, brokers, and other representatives working with us very closely on how we will reuse some properties that are coming available soon, as you know, such as Toys R Us, and using the outparcels surrounding the mall. So that is well underway. Also, an economic development priority is small business development. For our big business retention event this fall, we're planning about a half-a-day workshop for small businesses that will be basically a symposium where businesses can come in and learn about marketing, how that they should structure themselves legally, financial tools, and staffing, small business staffing. So we're working with our business retention partners on forming that at this time. We're also going to be partnering in the near future on ways to adaptively reuse property, such as in the downtown area, to create like co-work space and synergy for small business development. We're also working on some strategies to help strengthen and attract small businesses, such as having an ongoing small business development center counseling available to the public. And of course, we're continuing to work with marketing and communications on Small Business Week. We just celebrated our 3rd year of that. And we're beginning a new feature called a Monthly Business Spotlight, which our first one will be Baker Brothers, and we will be filming that in the next month. Next is shopping center revitalization. Working with the special projects staff, we have completed a first level shopping center inventory, which has given us who are the tenants, what is the square footage, what kind of rents are these shopping centers bringing in, and what is the potential for redeveloping those centers. We have already had 2 developers come and tour Mesquite and look at 10 to 12 of the centers and are working on some proposals for them. Also, we're working on some general policy formation, such as X percentage of improvement to the value of the property and what kind of a incentive sharing plan that we can do on those. So that is also well underway. Other economic development priority, of course, is the IH20 Corridor. And as you...
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Kim, could you...
Yes, sir.
And maybe this was a different type of shopping center that you were looking at there, but I was just curious if we're having some conversations with any older shopping centers who have an interest in trying to revamp or reinvest, or any of those conversations happening here lately?
Yes, sir, we are. In fact, one developer who has recently invested in a center brought a partner investor, and he's looking at the older neighborhoods. We've looked at Gus Thomason, the old Minyards, Northridge, Town East, and Motley, all of those types of centers.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. Recently approved through the city manager's office was the Trinity Point branding, of course. And from an economic development department's update perspective, we have been taking all this activity on 20 with the announcements of the new residential, the new branding, the approvals of the TERS and the PID, and we have begun our direct marketing of this area to our contacts, both locally and at ICSC and at IAMC. So we have definitely started planting the seeds that this project is coming to fruition. And downtown development, as we mentioned, we have Beverly on board now. The infrastructure plan is well underway. We have our 3rd project progress call in the morning. We've had 2 stakeholder workshops. Design plans have been presented as far as just stimulating ideas, and the stakeholders will be getting back together again on the 21st as we move this along, hoping to start an infrastructure project in early 2019. And via that 4-point approach Beverly talks to you about, she has gotten volunteer committees together. They've started meeting relative to design and economic vitality. And of course, she's in the middle of the Main Street program at this time. Now, some fun facts. Population trend. The population from 2017 projected to 2018 is up about 1.7%. Our households have grown, to be exact, 114 households, which pretty much lines up with Hagen Hill. The median income has risen 2.6%, And our average home value has increased significantly over the last few years. So in future quarterly reports, we will continue on with these bars and show you what these trends do over the next few years. Residential permits aren't quite as robust as they were last year at the moment, but with Phase 2 of Hagen Hill opening soon and Ridge Ranch, we expect those to increase significantly. There's a list here that we'll include in our quarterly reports of major employers, and any significant job count change we will note. Our unemployment rate is still trending with the rest of the state. It's up a little bit from 2017, 0.4%. Higher education attainment is another factoid that we want to follow to see how our efforts with skills development may help move the needle on this. But at this time, anyone with any higher education level in the city of Mesquite is 52%, and actual degrees are 28%, and that does include associate's degrees. And just to watch the trends of our city, we included population distribution, top jobs, and owners and renters in our city.
Kim,
Yes.
go back. Just so, because you put the slide up and mentioned it, that includes all residences, not just single family.
That's correct.
That includes all multifamily and everything.
Yes.
Thank you.
On the next page, we have been reporting this in our quarterly reports online, so we wanted to continue this in our City Council quarterly report, but showing you the remodel permit number, both in number of permits and valuation, and of course commercial new permits and valuation. This is a calendar year report, so we're at 40% of the year. So as you can see from these numbers, that 40%, everything is staying pretty much in line with 2017 versus 2016, where it's staying strong. Local sales tax collected is also trending right at 40% of the year. And our estimated square footage, so far this year, we're at about 672,000 new square feet, which would include the IDI building. So that's a major portion of that. We estimate new jobs off of certificates of occupancy. So far this year, we're estimating about 95 new jobs. And what's next for economic development in the coming quarters? The opening of the new Porch Swing restaurant, the near completion of the Ashley building, and they will be hiring 350 new workers, and they've already called us and are starting to gear up and be ready for that with our BRE partners. We're working on an across-the-board new marketing strategy for the Economic Development Department, so we'll be bringing you data on that. Future quarterly reports will tell you how many hits on our website and how many followers, etc., on different social media outlets. We would like to steer our marketing program more toward the developer, toward the investor, instead of the general public. So you will also see some pilot facade enhancement program project for downtown we will be presenting to you, and the completion of the infrastructure plan for downtown. Also, you'll see the creation of a Downtown Development Advisory Board and citizen committees. Those will be announced in the coming months, and the Fall Business Retention and Expansion Workshop will have more details later. Also, in future reports, we want to be able to show you a correlation between activity levels, such as going to trade shows, and how many contacts and site tours and actual negotiations result from those activities. So please plan on seeing this report morph a little bit as we move along with this new quarterly report. Do you have any questions?
That's great. Thank you so much. Any questions from Ms. Buttram at this time, Mayor Pro Tem?
Just a comment and a question. I just wanted to say, I went to that Turbo Boost Workforce event, and that was a great event you all put on. Is this something y'all are going to continue to do, and when is the next one?
Yes, we will continue to do those workshops. We don't have a calendar date set yet for the next one, and for that particular focus of being workforce. We do have a fall event. I can get the date for you. I don't have it off the top of my head. I believe it's September for the small business development workshop. But we do plan on getting the business retention task force together and evaluating surveying and scheduling that for at least annually.
Great, okay, thank you.
I have a question, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
First of all, great report. Thankful for all that you guys are doing. Thankful for what y'all, the chamber, and all of our local business folks are doing to keep the local economy moving forward, and we're doing good things. I'm thankful. How do you feel like our mall is doing? I know that we're blessed with new folks like Dick's and other places like that, but obviously we know in the nation, malls aren't as relevant as they used to be, and I think we typically hold our own pretty good, but just kind of curious how things are trending.
Well, based on our visits at ICSC, everyone is looking at how to reuse and repurpose retail space. So definitely they're looking at options for how to repurpose and how to use the out parcels toward experiential and entertainment-oriented retail. So I think that we're still in the discovery phase of exactly what we'll be doing there. We do have conversations ongoing with entertainment-type users. And of course, as you know, there are some parcels for sale surrounding the mall. And they're also looking at what type of residential components could possibly go in and around that area.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate. I'm glad you mentioned that, Councilman. The mall is being reinvented not only in the mall itself, but all around that whole retail area. And as we meet with different developers, we see a lot of people wanting to go in and reinvest and rebuild some of the existing things. So I think that's fantastic. Any other questions? Thank you very much. Very good report.